Hello everybody, this is Andreas Nest, business coach. So today I am in lovely Funkington and I'm talking to Jackie Sharp, and she runs a business called Co-Prom, and they specialize in promotional materials for anybody and everything. So Jackie, thank you very much for seeing me today.
Pleasure.
And giving me your time. Just talking about your business a little bit. So you're going back 34 years, is that what you said? That's a long
right.
time. So how did it all start?
Well, it's quite a long story really, but I set up the business when I was 21, and I'd actually come down from Cumbria in the Lake District and did various jobs. Mainly there was a nanny job, and then I did a job working for a sourcing specialist, and I sort of fell out with them because they wouldn't give me commission for lots of business that I won. So I thought,
what did you source? What kind of stuff?
Well, all sorts of promotional items. So it was one of the first people that I supplied was a chap at Revlon, and he'd been recommended by somebody at Alberta Culver. So the first order was actually £8,000 worth of business, which was fantastic. And it was just neck pens and these calculator ruler clocks for the pharmacists to use with the brand name on. And that was the first foot in the door.
So you left your employment because you fell out because of commission issues?
I'd won some business, and they weren't going to give me the commission. My boyfriend at the time said, well, why don't you do it yourself?
All right, and that's how it all started.
Yeah, and it was that Thatcher years where everybody was getting into being entrepreneurs and whatever. So it just seemed obvious that it would be a good route to go. Yeah.
Right. And so the big first order came from Revlon?
Yeah.
And then what happened then?
Well, after that, I picked up people like Texaco, Baby Sham, which was based in Shepton Mallet. Did a huge promotion for them, which was all to do with makeup palettes to go with Baby Sham. And then, who else? Lanthric Mornay, we did lots of work with them, which is, Yardley. And then I got into Lancome and L'Oreal. So it was all the sort of skincare and fragrance companies. And we did thousands and thousands of bags for Lancome.
And how did you attract these companies to your brand? Did you, did some direct sales to them? Did you know people in the industry there?
I just picked up the phone.
You just picked up the phone, literally, and said, I run this promotional company. Yeah. Was it always called Co-Prom, or was it?
To start with, it was called Camarco, but then there was somebody else with a name similar, so I changed it because I thought it stood out more. So it's company promotions. So it tied in.
It to Co-Prom.
Yeah.
Okay. And so you've just picked up the phone and said, hello, my name's Jackie Sharp and I do this. And they said, yeah, why not? That sounds really simple. Was it that simple?
It wasn't simple at all, no. It was usually, it was a days before LinkedIn. So you didn't have, somebody's, you didn't say marketing manager or whatever. You had to say, can you tell me who is the buyer of promotional items within the company? Is it your marketing manager, your brand manager, your sales promotion manager? It was all different in different companies. So it was a bit of a nightmare. Yeah. And obviously, you just had to keep trying. And,
Be persistent.
Keep going. Plus, we did exhibit at Olympia, Earl's Court, Barbican, the Brighton Metropole. We did lots of exhibitions, which really helped get the company name out there.
So obviously you were very good at selling, so you sold to all this company, but then the next challenge, I guess, was the sourcing of the material they wanted.
Yeah.
And where you were in sales with your previous employment, sourcing that material, did you find that easy, or was it a bit of a trial and error?
To start with, obviously, we did travel out to the Far East because it is mainly in volumes from China. But then I call her the bag lady. She did all the bags for Lancome and things. And there were times when I was doing work for Smith & Nephew. And I said, look, can you please go and check this factory because I hadn't used them. And we still do that to this day.
You check the factories?
Yeah.
So how do you check a factory?
Well, if there was a production going through that we were a little bit nervous about, I would just, pay her a few £100s and say, look, can you go to this factory and check this, and this. Although, most of them you had to have a testing certificate anyway, but just as a double check I thought that was
So
important.
this bag lady, she's located in the Far East, so she's somewhere in China.
She's
or
in Hong
Taiwan?
Kong actually.
In Hong Kong,
Yeah.
okay. And she travels around.
Yeah.
And she checks out.
Yeah. Not every, but you know.
But the ones where you are.
The ones where I was a bit nervous. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously, most times we get pre-production samples, or you know, now we get visuals over the internet or whatever. I don't travel so much now.
Did that ever go wrong?
We had a couple of things that went wrong, but not massively, not massively. Yeah. But you know, we've always come to an agreement with somebody. We'll always sort it out if there has been a problem. I mean, I've got something going through at the moment where, you know, the printer used the wrong artwork. Yeah. But it's all his fault. Yeah. So he said, well, I'll reprint it and I'll give you the other stock for half price. Okay. So, you know, we've worked something out, which is good. Yeah.
So what do you think were your biggest challenges?
I think just, you know, outside influences like Brexit. We probably lost about £10,000 as soon as it was announced. Right. And the exchange rate, you know, that's because of the exchange rate, basically.
Because the exchange rate dropped and you lost £10,000 because of that straight away. Wow,
yeah. So obviously that's something which is not brilliant. But I think also, you know, going through the recession was quite tough, and we put both our children through private education, and so it really squeezed us.
Between 2008 and 2015, that kind of time frame?
I think it was probably more like 2011 to 15, something like that.
Wow. So what did you do then in times when, you know, the squeeze was on, you know, people didn't spend much money on promotional material? Did you use any different marketing? Did you try different kind of strategies to overcome that challenge?
Funnily enough, I started doing a networking group. Well, I went to a couple, and then I thought, actually, I'll have a go at doing my own. Or was it the other way around? Anyway, and I did that for about a year, and that seemed to open a few more doors, and it made me more aware of social media. I learned all about LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, all that sort of thing, and I think that helped me gain a lot of smaller business locally, which I think has been good, because some of those little orders can help you through the times when you're you know, waiting for the bigger ones. So 10
small orders make up for one big order.
So it is more work, but then if you get them as a regular client, it becomes easy. You know, it's so that worked quite well, I think.
So do you use LinkedIn for your marketing at the moment?
Yeah.
Do you connect with influencing people, and then you?
Yeah, much more now. And funnily enough, I noticed somebody day before yesterday who had looked at my profile. Yeah. So I just said, hello, how can I help you? Yeah. Saw that you, whatever. And then he came back and he said, well, actually, yes, one of my colleagues is looking for promotional items. And she sent me an email with about 10 different items they're looking for. Nice. So who knows? So
there it goes, LinkedIn. Good tool to use.
Yeah.
Any other challenges? Do you employ a lot of staff that help you with your business? Is it more or less a family-run business?
It is. It's basically just Stephen and I now, and we outsource all our help. So we have two admin ladies that come in during the week, and then we have a virtual assistant as well who does all our email shots and things like that, and helps with the website. And we're revamping that at the moment. And then we have another IT man and the bookkeeper, and they're all outsourced now because we just feel it's a lot easier.
A lot easier than employing somebody?
Yeah. I mean, we've had the odd work placement, you know, for students from Chai Uni and things like that, which again, bringing in that, stopping us becoming dinosaurs, bringing in some new blood who will say, hey, have you thought about this? Have you thought about it? And I think that's so important.
Absolutely, because you've been going for 34 years, you know, kind of get in a rut and you think there's actually more out there.
Yeah.
And so what has been an absolute highlight for you? What are you really proud of?
Oh, the biggest order that we've had is actually my colleague, but he won a massive order for umbrellas for Specsavers.
All right.
And that has been fantastic. And we've also done rain ponchos and ice scrapers and other things for them. But that was the biggest order we've had ever. Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. Just beating my Cadbury's cream egg mug order, which I got probably 1996 or something.
Was that the best one till then? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what's next for you? What's the next big thing for you? What's on your radar?
I think just keeping, maintaining the turnover and making, we always have a target every year, and it's been running at around 700,000 mark for the past 4 years. So, yeah.
Do you always hit it?
Yeah,
Okay.
we've done really well actually.
So you don't go from 650 to 7 to 750 to 8?
It has grown. Yeah, it has grown up a bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're hoping to sort of surpass that this year.
So what are you putting in place to surpass that? Any initiatives?
Not really. I think it's just, using the same formula which has worked for years, So, I mean, I think always on the lookout for different things. And I mean, like entering the awards has been a thing which has, again, raised the profile. That's been quite good. And just, again, I suppose, trying to meet more people. Networking is really good.
Do you still pick up the phone despite networking and LinkedIn and all this?
Yeah.
Still works?
It does, it does,
It does still work?
Yeah. I think the thing is, although you might have connected with someone or somebody referred you, I think there's nothing better than picking up the phone and saying, well, just checking you got my quote or got my email. And then you can have a little chat and you feel a bit closer towards somebody.
It's all about building the rapport, isn't it?
Yeah.
That absolutely, the human aspect, no matter what systems we have in place, you still have to, take the initiative and pick up the phone or go and speak to somebody in person.
That's right.
Right. Okay. So anything you want to share with the audience? Anything big coming up for you? Anything that you want to share?
Well, the other thing that breeds loyalty is having rewards, which every month we change on the website. So, we say if you order this month, the value of over 500 pounds, we will give you this cooler bag and a voucher to buy some champagne to put in it or something like that.
So you reward loyal customers for coming back and increasing their orders. They get a little bit extra.
Yes, exactly. So I think that's worked really well, because there's a chap in a conference centre who orders every year. And he said, I'm really looking forward to my biscuits and mugs. That was last month's incentive. And he said, I've still got the cooler bag from last year. So
it does work.
It does work.
A little bit of a reward.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing. One of my sons builds his own sports cars. And he orders from this certain supplier for these performance parts. And he only orders from them because every time he gets the box, he's got a free pack of gummy bears in there.
Yes.
And that is the only reason why he continues to order from them, because of that little reward for him. So it is very powerful.
Yeah, and I mean that's actually probably about 60% of our business is through magazines that have the toys on the front of magazines.
Right.
And I mean we bring in container loads from the Far East of all these fluffy pencils and.
I see.
All that sort of thing. So.
And people buy them because they want this and the magazine.
It's mummy, buy this magazine because they've seen the sort of heart-shaped sunglasses or whatever.
I got one of those. My daughter. She can't go past one of those, kiddie magazines with some kind of gimmick on the front, and it needs to be that one.
Sorry, it's our fault.
It's your fault. Thank you very much for your time.
Pleasure.
Much appreciated. Great talking to you. And for you guys out there, 2 things really. One of them, remember how you reward your loyal customers. And also, don't never forget the human aspect, okay? People buy people. So bear that in mind. Thank you very much, and I will speak to you all next week. Bye-bye.